welcome to Galan's third podcast. I'm Ross Dinsdale, CFO of the company, and with me is JP. Hi, JP.
Hi, Ross.
So today we're here to talk about the quarterly.
Yeah, indeed.
And it was an eventful quarter. Where should we start? I think there's probably three key areas we can cover off on today. The Authium transaction or announcement regarding offtake and financing. We've, of course, got the Clean Elements funding arrangement, which was announced during the quarter as well. And then I think it'd probably be worth spending a little bit of time on sharing with our listeners the observations we've made around the market. So let's get started.
Yeah, and there's one more. We can talk about the RIGI.
Oh, of course, yes, the RIGI.
Yeah, the one that everyone has been asking for a long time. So, yeah, please.
Well, why don't we start with the RIGI, JP?
The RIGI has been recently approved by the committee of the RIGI approvals, and that was being posted on X or Twitter by the Minister of Economy, Mr. Caputo. And the paperwork is on its way for Galan to be official. But it's fantastic news for us because it gives a financial platform to be on I would say in equal terms to any development of lithium in Australia. And you can say that the RIGI has given us the certainty of repatriation of funds, so we can pay dividends, we can pay any loan that we may ask in the future. We get a corporate tax reduced from 35% to 25%. We can get accelerated depreciation within 2 years, which is fantastic for the cash flow to pay any dividends on any loans that we may have. And importantly, this lasts for 30 years. So the RIGI, in my view, after being operating in Argentina for close to 8 years now, it's what we needed because that was a big question mark about Argentina. And now we not only got all the permits that we said that we'll do, we've been compliant with all our promises in terms of we got phase one permits. We started the first one, we'll be in production next year. Phase two has been approved. So all very exciting. Galan has delivered on its promise, and we're very pleased that we've got the RIGI approved.
So it sounds like, in the way that you've characterised it, a very significant financial de-risking event.
Absolutely. It puts us where we should be, in my view, with the new development of lithium projects around the world. There is no coincidence our neighbours are Rio Tinto, and they bought our neighbours for under $7 billion, a transaction that happened this year. Rio Tinto has got their teeth very strongly into lithium, including a transaction in Chile. And all these transactions were brine-driven. They were not into hard rock. They were not into Africa or Brazil. They were Chile and Argentina, all focused on the lithium triangle. And we are the neighbours of Rio Tinto at Hombre Muerto. So the evidence shows that we are in a fantastic position with a fantastic resource. I would say that it's the best disclosed brine in terms of grade and impurities that you can find around the world. In Argentina, better said.
Great.
Because Chile has it a little bit better.
So operationally, the de-risking has happened. We know that. We've seen the progress over the past couple of years since we started phase one, and now the financial de-risking has occurred. So it heralds a very significant moment in Galan's history. So we'll switch gears now, and let's talk about Authium, because in April, which is included in the June quarter, we announced a very important funding arrangement and offtake arrangement with Authium. JP, can you tell us a little bit about who Authium is?
Yep, Authium is an Australian private company. Pretty much they are not new to lithium brine or Argentina. What we have got is a team that was involved at the Rincon project with Rio Tinto. The Rio Tinto is being now have got the green light for the development of the Rincon project that is $2.5 billion. Now, the team behind that proven the concept of going forward with the development of the Rincon project, that technical team is Authium. And Cameron Stanton, which is the principal of the company, is the main man that has put money into Galan. That's how we started. He became a shareholder initially. They followed Galan for a number of years, by the way. It's not nothing here is a coincidence. These are people that have been keeping an eye on us, and they became shareholders. The conversation started and said, look, this is what we've done. This is what we can do. And they pretty much have given a solution that in our view, is very competitive for OPEX reduction. What we're having is, instead of our initial plan was to do the filtration with a liming process that includes liming, bringing lime into the Andes, mixing the liming with fresh water, and then go through a filtering process that will remove the impurities, especially magnesium, as a plaster. So their technology is nanofiltration that attacks pretty much the main impurities, which is magnesium. Also, it does sulfate, it removes calcium, and then we'll have a later stage of boron. The technology is being widely used, and now it's been specifically pointed for brine filtration, and therefore we have a technology that it will provide us a strong position for being more competitive, even more than where we are as a brine producer. We'll be in a position to reduce our cost significantly. You can talk more about the OPEX impact, but we have a 45,000 ton agreement in development of 10 years, or if they manage to get a better yield with the technology, that could be reduced from 10 to 8 or maybe 6, we don't know. These plants should be at site by the end of the year and started testing, and that will give us the starting point of production that we believe that by the end of the first half of 26, we'll get our first ton into the market.
It's great. So completion of construction in this half of 2025, and then next half 2026, we're into production of lithium chloride concentrate.
Yeah, and lithium chloride has a significant advantage in the market, and you can probably talk about that next.
Indeed. So look, that Authium deal, I think you've told listeners the impact and the reasons why that was the particular offtake partner that we chose. To add a little bit to that, so it's a OPEX savings because we're not spending money on lime and labour that was originally going to be involved in that filtering and liming operation. So there's significant OPEX savings, but CAPEX as well. So we've come up with an agreement with Authium, in which they actually fund the nanofiltration process, plant. They have the expertise in how to construct and implement that solution at site. So that's what they're responsible for. And look, the latest update, as reflected in our quarterly, shares with our shareholders that they're well advanced down that path now. So they've actually done all the detailed engineering design, and they are now out for orders to start the construction process. So the schedule basically is on track, is the message from Authium. And on our part, we're doing the construction works that we need to, such as completion of Pond 4. So the whole operation is integrated and ready to go by the back end of this year. Yeah. So I think, as far as an operational update is concerned, we're pleased with the progress at site. It's been candidly a little bit of a stop-start situation for us, and that's owing to the funding or really lack thereof in recent history. But Clean Elements, this is probably a nice segue into Clean Elements, that gives us the funding certainty to advance and complete what needs to be completed to finish off phase 1. We, of course, were reluctant to go too hard with construction activities while there was a lack of funding certainty, so we couldn't commit to certain scopes, and that includes finishing off that pond I mentioned, Pond 4. But Clean Elements, I'll just talk a little bit about them. I know we've had a podcast on Clean Elements before, but it's worth highlighting that that is a partner as we view it, rather than just a financial investor.
Yeah.
So what they bring to the table is some pedigree of investing in lithium. This is not their first lithium investment. They also bring a sophisticated financial group that sit beside them, and that's the ISP group. So that's a banking and financial institution. And we think longer term that might be a source of finance for us as we look ahead into phase 2 and latter phases of the project development. So they're an excellent financing partner. They are a financial investor rather than a strategic partner. So this isn't the case where we've got an industry partner who's perhaps looking to take us over. That's not the situation we see with Clean Elements. This is someone who wants to grow with us and have the financial sophistication and wherewithal to help us go on that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I went to see them in Switzerland. They're based in Switzerland. The partner of Clean Elements ISP, and they're very committed and they can see the opportunity here, and it's a partner that business are made with people, and the people behind the funds are actually the investment. They are contrarians, and they look for what's the best company to invest for. So they've done quite an extensive due diligence in the market to find out who was the best company to invest with. And Clean Elements, they have mentioned many times that they were at PDAC, and we didn't go to PDAC this year, and they were asking at PDAC who is the next lithium company that we can invest. And deafening sound to them was Galan. Galan was, by all means, there in Canada, New York, in many other places that they went to. Galan was always their first answer. So they contacted us, and they, came out of the blue in a way. But I'm glad they contacted us because this is the last push that we needed for funding. Now with this, it put us the funding required for the 4,000 tons of lithium carbon equivalent in lithium chloride going forward. And importantly, this it's good timing in a way because the market is turning, and we can now move on to the market.
Yeah, let's talk about the market.
And the market is showing signs of strength. We've seen the last 3 weeks how the lithium carbonate price appreciation has been happening little by little on a daily basis. But we've been seeing also the futures that they have jumped, and they're very choppy. I was discussing with Daniel Jimenez, which is one of our directors, the other day, and his view on why the volumes on the futures are going up is because the market is taking a position that it is more likely that the prices are going to go up than going down, because they were $8,000-9,000 a ton. How much lower can they go? Not very likely, but the certainty of going up is higher. So whilst it is viewed that we may have an oversupply, which is a very delicate balance of oversupply, undersupply in the market, we see that the companies are taking positions. Combine that with news from China that they've been cracking down on permits, royalties, and therefore affecting some production. It's interesting to see that the reflection on the future market is very strong. And I'd like to see what happens next in the months of September, October, because those are the months naturally every year the restock of lithium tends to happen, and the next one is before Chinese New Year. So it's we may find ourselves in the perfect storm, for the good, not for the bad, because it's been a difficult number of 18 months or 2 years by now. And it's good to see that the market's turning. We always understood that these are cycles and we need to weather the cycles. This has been lasting way longer than we expected. But I'm very positive where the market is going to take us next year. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think I agree with a lot of what you said there, JP. We were at an industry conference not long ago, yes. And the mood in that room was a lot more positive than perhaps what it has been in recent history. And I think people are now getting more information about EV penetration, EV growth. Perhaps that isn't happening in the US as formerly expected. It's happening elsewhere in the world, and those growth rates are very strong. And there's stationary storage applications for lithium batteries. There's other pockets of demand, I guess, for lithium that perhaps weren't anticipated originally, and that demand is robust. And there's some market analysts who are saying, we're looking at compound annual growth north of 20%. Yeah. Year on year between now and 2030. And to the extent there is any kind of oversupply in the market, as some analysts and commentators would point to, it doesn't take long for that oversupply to be overwhelmed with demand. So I think we are cautiously optimistic by what we've seen in the market in the past 2 weeks. We've seen in the equity market broader support for lithium names, which is great. We think that there's a growing attention towards low-cost producers. The industry as a whole has been burnt, and it's now very apparent to the market, I think, that there is a cost differential between hard rock miners, so the spodumene producers, and that includes operators in Australia. They're not in the first quartile. The lowest cost producers are those mines in Argentina, in Chile, the brine operations, and that's where a lot of the growth will come from, because 2/3 of the world's mineral resources, lithium mineral resources, are sitting in the lithium triangle. So, it's probably taken this downturn to
shake the tree.
Shake the tree and shed light on some home truths in the lithium industry. And we certainly look ahead with a great foundation with the RIGI now to accelerate our growth. We, of course, don't want to blindly pursue growth if the market conditions aren't right for it, but there is a fantastic foundation I think the company has, and let's hope that there is some tightening in the market and we've got favourable conditions.
And one more thing about the competitive advantage of Galan that I want to ask you. That we've been talking to several companies for processing, and one of them is the high demand of LFP batteries compared that to the NMC that we've seen lately. What is commercially, what do you see that is for benefit of Galan to produce lithium chloride?
Well, by no means am I a chemist or a downstream expert, so I'm going to give you my commercial/final financial interpretation. It's become apparent to us that the dominant battery chemistry is LFP. The processing route to get you to that destination product, there's more than one way of getting there. So the conventional route, if you like, was to go through carbonation. So you produce a lithium carbonate product as an interim step before getting to a LFP product. However, we've been made aware that lithium dihydrogen phosphate is an alternative step that more or less gets you to the final product in one go. And what that means for us with a lithium chloride concentrate is that we actually get better payabilities, because there's not an interim relatively cost-intensive step of carbonation. So that processing pathway is a material advantage to us. We're sitting there with a lithium chloride product. And, we've said it many times, JP, that having a lithium chloride product allows us to feed into the lithium chemical industry in different ways. So we're not setting our future betting on one particular battery chemistry. We are focusing on being a miner, and we're not focused on being a chemical company. Yep. And, that requires a lot of capital, which frankly we don't have, but it also implies a lot of commercial risk in betting the future on a particular type of battery chemistry.
Yeah, we want to be a miner before a chemical company.
Exactly
I
right.
agree.
Yep.
And also lithium chloride can be also used for making lithium metal. And that is the next generation of batteries for solid state batteries.
Yep.
Whilst it's not been proven at commercial scale, if it works, and when it works, I've got a bet on this that it will work. But time will tell. I believe that this will give us also more flexibility down the track, because lithium metal could be the next thing. Give it 5-10 years. I'm not dreaming that this is going to happen overnight, but we're here for the long run. And importantly, we can set up the base for the product that the market needs, as you point out, and the extra benefit, and we see that this market may run, and next year we'll be in a fantastic position. But we also know that these are cycles, and compared to spodumene, the main thing for us that we want to make them aware is that if we cannot make money as a lithium brine producers, then only one mine can make money in the lithium spodumene sector, which is Greenbushes. And we believe that brine is the way to go as a strong investment, and now the RIGI solidified this. It put us in the right place, and will be fingers crossed this is the right time, the right place for lithium to come back again. And it's set up everything, and this has been a fantastic first half of the year with all these challenges that we've been facing. And I believe that it's a reflection of the hard work that the team here in Australia and Argentina, we're all very committed to make this work. The board has been committed as well. We all chipped in funding, and I remember you did the first time. I was quite happy when you joined us that you did that as well. So there's a belief in Galan, and I see that across the team, and I'm really pumped in a way that we see this as at the beginning of something new.
That's great. And look, let's just reflect again on what we've discussed. We've talked about the RIGI. That's clearly a financial de-risking event for the company. We've talked about Authium. That is a foundational agreement for the company. We look forward to working with Authium closely, and we're making great strides now to complete the remainder of the construction activities in this year and into production next year. We've spoken about Clean Elements. We're delighted to have them as our financing partner, and their capital was essential really to enable us to complete phase one. And lastly, we've been talking on the market, and by all accounts, we're both of the same view that the tide is perhaps turning, and we are looking forward to the balance of this year in 2026 as being a better time within the industry, and certainly believe now Galan has a very strong foundation to grow.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ross. And to the audience, thanks very much for seeing our third podcast for the second quarter of 2025 or first half of 2025. I look forward to updating you the next time.
Thank you.